Right, Nedum, if I could sort of try and put you in the shoes of a Liverpool player, and you can imagine listening to your manager doing that interview, and if I include the press conference as well, he used words like passive, horrible, misery, but would the more worrying thing be the end of that interview where he effectively says he doesn't know what the problem is?
I think no. The words he's used to describe it, I think they are pretty much the problem. I think to talk about a passive start to a game, especially away from home for a team that's like fighting for their lives, I think that's a cardinal sin in itself. And that first goal, obviously, it was an own goal, but the ease in which they could play a ball in behind, the ease in which somebody could get a shot or crossing on goal, like that's not good. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but most of the places I went to, it's always emphasised the importance of a good start well, and that's not necessarily get on the ball and make 20 passes in a row. It's like be solid, don't offer them anything. But for Liverpool, they did that yesterday. Before you know it, they were very much on the back foot and never managed to recover from that. So I think from Jurgen Klopp's side of things, but standing on the sideline thinking you've prepared your team well, and then all of a sudden they're a goal behind through a goal which they could stop probably 9 times out of 10. That's going to be disappointing, and he can work on it. But I think at this point now, the players out there, they need to show something a bit more, which is different to what we've seen from them in the past, which is all free-flowing attacking football. At some point with football, whether you're in a stadium or just playing in a field down the road, you've got to be dogged, you've got to compete, you've got to at least match the opposition. But unfortunately for them, they've not done that recently, and that's why they're 10th in the table, which just seems crazy to see with the team that they have.
Yeah. There are issues off the pitch as well, Adam. That they had the FSG president, Mike Gordon's been sort of moved away to focus on other things, perhaps not surprisingly, given FSG are focusing on other things. Michael Edwards was the sporting director who did so well. He left November 2021. Then his replacement, Julian Ward, announced he was leaving in November 2022. Are the issues on the pitch matched by the issues off the pitch at the moment?
Maybe to an extent. I think you could say, when we've had these discussions about Liverpool over the last few years, it's always been, look how well run they are. Look how everyone's aligned in the same direction. Look at the sense of purpose, all these different departments aligning. So I think there is some mitigation there. On the other side of that is the games Liverpool are losing. They're not losing against Manchester United, Manchester City and Arsenal. They're being turned over by Brighton twice, Brentford, Wolves. I can't really remember the last time I watched Liverpool and came away feeling like I've seen Liverpool play, as in that real that Klopp identity. That you could have watched Liverpool over the last few years, and they could have played in any colour kit, and you'd know it was a Klopp team. At the moment, they are just kind of drifting and passive, as he said yesterday. And the concerning thing, I think, is more that after each game, he even seems a little bit more lifeless and a little bit more, that big sigh that he did in that interview that we just heard, that kind of puff of the cheeks. It's like, we need to go again, and I'm not really sure how to fix things. So they feel like a club that need the summer, to be honest.
Sorry, go on, Jose.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
This situation makes me remember 3 years ago when Christophe Galtier, the PSG manager, he was here in Lille. 1 year before we won the league, we was in a situation where we couldn't win a game. We was changing tactics, we was changing players, we couldn't win a game. And I remember that the coach came to us one day and he said, guys, let's just go back to basics. 4-4-2. We need to be solid, defensively, compact. Let's not concede. If we don't concede, we'll be closer to winning a football game. And, it was like a click. Everybody was like defending for their lives. We wasn't playing well, but we didn't concede. That gave us a chance to win a game, because in a football game, you're always going to have one chance, two chances, and then it's if you take it, you win the game. And we did that, and instantly our season changed. And I believe that Liverpool needs to go back to basics. They're not defending well. They're not. They just, their heads are not in the game. It looks like they're dejected. And if they can get together, go back to basics, defend well, not concede, they have players with quality enough to go and score, I believe.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jose. Like, it seems so simple, but this idea of going back to basics, but then most success that you see within football has that as a foundation, and the other stuff is built on top of it, as opposed to building from the other side. And this Liverpool side that we're seeing now, people are encouraged when they play against them because they believe that maybe they'll be passive, they'll give you a goal and so on. But, you know, if you're going to win a Premier League title, be in the Champions League, the likelihood is you have to concede fewer goals than everybody else, as well as score the goals as well. And it's just something that's definitely missing there. And for Klopp himself, you know, he maybe he's dejected because this is an expectation that he has of his team to be able to do those things. So the question is, well, why are they not doing it? Then you say, well, is it confidence? Is it the fact that they're not winning every single week that it's affecting them now? Well, if that's the case, then you have to pick the personnel who can overcome that. And that's might not necessarily suit everybody's eye. But in these sorts of situations where the expectation is as high as it is, but then the outcomes are as low as they are, you need to find people who are comfortable being in that situation where they just need something that isn't what people are used to as such. And I think if Liverpool have that, then, you know, they can match up to any side that they play against on a week-to-week basis, but then still have the talent in which they do have.
You know what's really interesting about that, Jose, is that I guess it's a question of making sure your players aren't too proud. And when I say that, you know, if you as a team that ended up winning a league title can do it, then anyone can do it. But if we were to talk about back to basics normally, it's the kind of thing we'd apply to Everton. You know, new manager Sean Dyche, they go back to basics, they're solid, they get a big result against Arsenal. But should it apply to any team, regardless of the players you've got, regardless of the stars you have, sometimes you've got to do it.
You've got to adapt. You've got to adapt to the situation. And the reality is Liverpool are struggling. So you just have to change something, and perhaps you have to think, okay, boys, let's just realize that things are not working that you know, in the past used to work. Let's just, like I said, go back to basics. It doesn't have to be a 4-4-2, or it doesn't have to be whatever it suits the players that Jurgen Klopp have, whatever, you know, their qualities are. They just have to be more solid. They just have to be more compact. Perhaps, you know, avoid the high pressing at all times that they used to do, which leaves them very exposed at the back. And just, you know, have a mid block, or obviously Liverpool cannot play with a low block because it's Liverpool, but a mid block, waiting for the teams, be compact, be solid, you know, let the balls go on the wings and not through the middle. And then when the ball gets to the wings, strong press, try to recover the ball, and we go from there. I mean, this is the basics in football. If you're solid defensively, that's going to give you a chance to win a game.
We've got goals going in all over the place just in the last few seconds. There's been one in the game between Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea in the Women's Super League. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, Tottenham 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea totally dominant and they took advantage from a short corner. Cuthbert floated the ball.